Hi, eighth graders. It is Miss Sepulveda here. Happy Wednesday. It is day eight of our distance learning. We are almost to spring break, which really doesn't mean that much anymore, but it means that you'll get a pause and a break from all the work that you're doing, or an extra chance to catch up, like a lot of you need after I talked to you when we got Chromebooks. So today is April 1st and it is April Fool's Day. So for our Spirit Week today, play a friendly, so safe and not harmful trick on a family member. Capture a picture or let us know what you did in a short statement. My favorite was I always would put a rubber band on the sink, the little, like if you have the faucet that sprays, so I would put a rubber band on that so that if my mom turned the sink on to wash her hands, it would spray her in the face. That was always a favorite of mine, but I'm not telling you to do anything because I don't want to get you in trouble. Anyways, today's video will be way shorter than yesterday because we don't have any new reading to do. I will read through the questions that they're going to ask you to do. That's it. All right, so reading, independent reading, 30 minutes, read a book or article of your choice, complete the reading log, review stories 1 through 4, and complete the reading questions. So I'm not reading all 4 of those sources again because that was a lot, but you can go back to days 7 and 6 and listen to those stories again. And then we also have to review All Summers in a Day by Ray Bradbury and answer the reading questions. And for writing, we have to complete the written responses for All Summer in a Day and begin drafting your narrative using information from your story map that you completed yesterday. All right, let's get started. Here's your reading log, same as it's looked every other day. All right, here are selected/constructed response. And make sure you are thinking back to your study skills. So for multiple choice questions, we are first reading and understanding the question. Second, we are reading and highlighting, right? Read and highlight. Third, eliminate answers. And 4 is choose the best answer, okay? So make sure that as I'm reading it, you are following through and doing those things. Okay, number 1. All of the sources provide information about climate change. Which source would most likely be relevant to students researching the impact of global change on future generations? A, source 1, B, source 2, C, source 3, or D, source 4. Number 2. Source 3 says, sea levels are expected to rise between 7 and 23 inches, 18 and 59 centimeters, by the end of the century, and continued melting at the poles could add between 4 to 6 inches, or 10 to 20 centimeters. What 2 pieces of evidence from source 1 and source 2 best support this claim? A, the atmosphere and ocean have warmed, source 1. Earth has a fever, source 2. B, in stacks, no. Sorry, my dog barked. B, in California, Monterey Bay's famous big waves might be in trouble, source 1. It also concluded that it very likely that within this century, glaciers will continue to melt and Arctic sea ice will thin even more. Source 2. C. Climate change may affect waves in several ways. As the ocean warms, polar ice caps will continue to melt. This will cause sea levels along the northern California coast to rise between 1.5 feet and 6 feet by the end of the century. Source 1. In the last 60 years, the atmosphere and ocean have warmed. The amounts of snow and ice have diminished. Sea level has risen, and the concentrations of greenhouse gases have increased, the IPCC reports. Source 2. Or D. If the predictions are true, Monterey Bay could end the 21st century with poor surfing waves. Source 1. Limited further warming, he said, will require substantial and sustained reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Source 2. All right, number 3. Source 4 makes the claim 59% of surveyed Americans believe that global warming was a threat to future generations. Choose 2 pieces of evidence from source 2 and 2 pieces of evidence from source 3 that support the claim in source 4. Okay, so those are your questions for all of your nonfiction sources. Now we have to do some reflecting and answering on All of Summer in a Day. After reviewing All Summer in a Day, respond to the following questions. How does Bradbury describe the sun? Citing at least 2 descriptive passages that you find in the text, explain what the sun means to the characters in the story. All right, so make sure we're understanding this question. You have to answer 2 different things. Number 1, what are 2 ways that Ray Bradbury describes the sun? And second, explain what the sun means to the characters in the story. So use those descriptions you find, those probably some similes, probably some metaphors, and use those to infer, to make a guess about how the characters feel about the sun and how important it is to them. Okay, next. How do the children react to seeing the sun? Cite specific evidence from the text to support your answer. All right. Okay. And next, you guys are going to be working on writing. You're going to be starting your draft for your narrative. So we will review the assignment really quickly. Read and analyze the writing prompt. Identify the task and begin the rough draft of your writing. Your assignment. A book editor comes to your class and talks about his latest compilation of short stories. All of the stories include information about the climate and climate change. The editor has invited your school to submit several stories for his next compilation. Before you can write your story, you must complete some research about climate change to incorporate into your narrative. Your research has led you to 3 articles and an infographic about the impact of climate change on the earth. Narrative writing assignment. A book editor comes to your class. We literally just read that? A book editor comes to your class and talks about his latest compilation of short stories. After his talk, he asks everyone in your class to write their own short stories to be considered for his next compilation. Each of the stories center around climate change and the impact of climate change on Earth. In your story, you will write about an event that occurs due to climate change. The story should be several paragraphs long. When writing your story, find ways to use information and details about climate change from the sources to improve your story and help you develop your characters, the setting, and the plot. Use details, dialogue, and description where appropriate. Your story will be scored using the following: organization, purpose. How effective was your plot? And did you maintain a logical sequence of events from beginning to end? How well did you establish and develop a setting, narrative, and characters? And point of view. How well did you use a variety of transitions? How effective was your opening and closing for your audience and purpose? Development/elaboration. How well did you develop your narrative using description, details, dialogue? How well did you use relevant details or information from the sources in your story? Conventions. How well did you follow the rules of grammar, usage, punctuation, capitalization, and spelling? Okay, so here's where you start your rough draft. Give you a lot of room. And that is the end of reading and writing for today, guys. So, like I said, a lot shorter than yesterday. I will see you tomorrow, which will be Thursday and day 9. Bye, 8th graders.